That's cool. Hello and welcome to Wazir X and CNBC-TV18.com present Early Adopters. Today we speak to Archit Sinha. He's India's first Indian multimedia journalist and filmmaker to cover crypto globally. Today we speak to him to understand what he envisioned this novel asset will turn out to be back in the day, and whether the crypto journey has actually manifested better for him what we see on charts right now. Archit, hi, good to have you. I mean, you've been one of the early adopters. You've been talking about it for a very long time now. But 2021 clearly has been an exponential year. The kind of gains that we saw in this year are something that the experts are saying that hasn't happened in the last 10 years as well. But when you got into the space, did you expect what we see right now?
Absolutely. I mean, without any doubts. I mean, it took me time to convince my editor in the newsroom that the story is as big, and probably, I mean, you would be knowing, how tough is to convince the editors out there to for the story, and this was like considered to be like a scam when I first reported it out, and back in I think 2013, I think I was reporting for Al Jazeera's AJ Plus at that time. I was making a video. I heard the first time I heard the word Bitcoin, and then probably cut to when I was in CNN in 2015. I still didn't do a story about it. I thought probably it'll be a scam. But then, probably in the September of 2016 at Vion, I finally chose to kind of do this story and also do a documentary. And for me, it was important because the world over digital financial experiments were, kind of getting conducted. And in India at that time, I think demonetization had just happened. And also, someone just told me, that the blockchain will replace the cash, which is proving to be true actually.
Arjit, how have you seen India react to this? Because there have been apprehensions, and not just India; it's a global technology for that matter. More than India, countries trying to regulate it by themselves, as has been said, the world together will have to regulate it in some sense. Not regulate, but maybe put out do's and don'ts or put some supervisions on this.
Yeah, I mean, with any new technology, I think one got to be a little apprehensive. I think that's a human psychology, and internet was the era of information. Blockchain, along with crypto, is the era of kind of a money alternative, probably, and that's why you see RBI, kind of supplementing it with the sovereign currencies going on blockchain, which is the CBDCs, right? And also, at the same time, you have some crypto geeks and people who are like crypto enthusiasts. So I see that probably a set of guidelines for everybody is necessary at this point in time, and I think the government is going in the right direction, and so is the whole startup community out here. So that's what the blockchain assets and kind of other crypto things. So I think it seems to be positive to me, and there's some really learned people in the government and in the policy making, and so I think they'll take the right decision. So yeah, the future seems to be positive. That's the thing.
Hmm. Actually, as they say that media, social media, print can make or break a story, make or break a person for that matter as well. How true do you believe it to be? And in context of blockchain and cryptocurrencies, how do you see media playing a role?
I mean, how do I see it? They should play an important role because it's about educating the citizens right now, and I think there are a lot of gaps which needs to be filled. I think during this month, I was currently not happy with the state of media kind of reporting the way they reported. So I think journalists need to educate themselves, to be very honest, and I think people also need to be educating themselves about crypto and the blockchain technologies. And I see that probably it's a bigger gap to be filled by the media, in at least in India. And so yeah, I would encourage all the journalists to learn about crypto and kind of report with integrity, and also kind of have the knowledge before they report upon. So but so far it's been kind of good. I mean, because your channels covered it really well. I saw a couple of other channels also covering it really well. So yeah.
Hmm. Archie, how do you look? When we look at a new sector, when we look at a new instrument being launched into the market, I mean, this is quite a wave, isn't it? When you look at blockchain and cryptocurrencies, what is your sense on since you've been looking at it for last 5 or 6 years now? What is your sense from on the growth of this, on the evolution of this, whether it has been about the reaction from institutions or regulators for that matter?
I think it's still in the process of going into mainstream. I think it's still in a nascent stage right now because everybody of us kind of are educating about it, whether it's the institutions, whether it's the media, whether it's the citizens. So I think it's going in the right direction, but we need to have the guidelines in place for this to happen because I think even from the VC's point of view, I think they need to be educated before they invest their money because that will save a lot of time and money, right, for everybody. And I think and you'll see that all the crypto platforms, I think they're going to be graduating into the intermediate stage from what they are in right now. It will be more user friendly. And also as I said, that kind of guidelines is going to be in place, and people are going to be more crypto educated because what I knew, I think probably in 2020 I didn't see much of people to be kind of educated about the crypto and blockchain. Suddenly you see this whole new wave, and now people are kind of wanting to know. People are kind of wanting to include the crypto things into their portfolios. So to me, I think it's going in the right direction. Yes, we are going a little slow, to be very frank with you. I mean, as an enthusiast, I want them to take pace, but I think we are a little slow. But I think we'll get there. So yeah.
Mm. Since you've been reporting and talking about this, how do you look at the conversations when people say, "Oh, blockchain, great technology, cryptocurrencies, no, maybe NFTs, oh yes, all celebs and movie stars and cricketers are onto it. DApps, DAOs, oh, there is still some
Yeah,
time for that, and decentralized exchanges are way far away. Metaverse, so that's another conversation altogether.
yeah,
Do
yeah,
we need to look at it with the same frame, or would you also
yeah.
say that this needs to be understood way differently?
Yeah, I think the lot of the community in the members, I think they're working really well towards creating all this space, right? But a part of crowd also seems to be fascinated and knowing nothing about it. To be very honest with you, I think I've seen people just talk about it, going gungo about it, but they know nothing about it. So I think we need to kind of beware about the crowd, such crowd, and probably I think need to focus upon educating about ourselves. Like if there is a DAO, what does DAO do? If there's an NFT, okay, kind of why is that picture being kind of included in that NFT? So you need to kind of be educated about it. At Wazirex, I think probably that's my daily job to kind of educate people, and I've been building those videos about it so that people know about it. And whether it's Hindi, Gujarati, Tamil, I think in their local languages, people need to understand what this technology is first of all, and then probably talk about it. So because these are some really great innovations, and it'll take some time to kind of to get these on mainstream platforms, and that's true with any innovation, to be very honest. So yeah.
Mm. So from where we were in 2016 or 2018, even 2020, from where we are right now, clearly has been a very strong gain, whether it has been about awareness, people investing, talking about it, even scaling up, evolution of the whole sector there. What's your sense on where are we headed with the kind of work that is being done, the kind of investments that are being made?
I think, as I said, we are headed in the right direction right now, and I think there's a whole new community which is building some really good products out here, and with support from the government, I think it'll further enhance. And I think there's some really innovative products being built right now, and with VCs educating themselves about what they are investing into. So I think as a whole, I think it should be progressive for us, and and yeah, it should be a smooth direction for us to go into.
This is a very personal question, but I'll ask you
Yeah.
here. When I was reporting on cryptocurrencies, and
Yeah.
I've been doing that for some time as well, initially people would tell you, "Oh, don't talk about that because this is very
Yeah.
speculative. You have no idea where it could explode to." But
Yeah.
now, yes, there are more believers into the market. Did you go
Yeah.
through all of that too?
Absolutely. I mean, it happened with me in Vion too. I mean, when I first narrated my story, and everybody was of the view that this is some scam or something. But then I had to convince them, you know, and there were questions being asked, and so yeah, I mean, it was absolutely. I mean, to me, I had to convince them what it is. It took me a whole month to kind of explain them what it is.
Mhm.
So I think it was the most complicated. And let me just tell you, in terms of a storytelling point of view, I think it's one of the most complicated subjects to be kind of because either it's understood by some tech geek, you know, or in those years. I mean, I'm talking about 2016. Otherwise, I don't think that you'll be listening it from any other person or any other professional out here, or either it's going to be the lawyers, right? But otherwise it was a complicated subject because it was very early during those times, and you really need to read it into whether it's the white papers or some blogs or something, or you need to talk to a lot of people. I talked to a lot of people across the globe, and only then I understood it. So yeah, it was a tough ride for me, and it wasn't
Oh,
easy.
absolutely. Archie, it's like internet, isn't it? Because it's of
Yeah,
great use. You can't live without it. You can use
yeah.
it, misuse it, abuse it, and that's what I think every sector, every new instrument brings to you. But tell me, if you were to advise a journalist, a new investor, a skeptic, what would you
Hmm.
say?
I would say educate yourself. I mean, to anybody who's ever come to me for an investment for, what is Avalanche, what is Ethereum, I say go educate yourself. YouTube is filled with tutorials. My Wazirx YouTube channel is filled with tutorials. I think go out there, educate yourself, and then probably you'll get there, and then probably you'll get on those lines of investing it, because it makes no sense to me. I mean, forget about that. I know crypto. I mean, let's assume that I don't know crypto. Why will I believe in something if I kind of don't know about it? You know so I would say, I would tell the people to kind of go there, go on TV 18 channels, listen about what we're talking about, what we have been talking about since the past 1 year, and go to other YouTube channels, listen towards it, and then form your opinion. And then probably go and think about investing in crypto.
I have one final question for you. So, what is
Yeah,
your sense? I mean, since you've been reading, talking, researching about this
yeah,
for such a long time now, we're still in infancy, perhaps. But
yeah.
how would you look at the next 3 to 5 years? What would you look out for? What would you want in this space?
Oh, it's going to be very, very experimental. To be very honest with you, it's going to be very, very experimental, and probably there's going to be a shift in culture. Probably there's going to be a shift in digital culture, as you know, with the with Web3. I think probably after the social media, I think uh, there's going to be some major shift, because we've been hearing all those words, metaverse. I mean, we all know what the Facebook company did, and so there's going to be a major shift in the technology culture and how we work in also. But what direction it takes in, I think that's going to be the thing to be seen. I mean, so also interesting times, because central bank digital currencies are also on the way. So because I wrote a whole new article back in 2016 that the sovereign currencies are going to go, on the blockchain, and let's see how it goes, because I've seen it how the experiments were conducted in Switzerland back then, and India for sure. I think is going to be, kind of experimenting in certain phase. China did it probably last year. So yeah, it's going to be really, really experimental, and going to be something interesting.
Oh, well, absolutely. No two ways about it. Archie, thank you so much for taking time out for us. And thank you so much for sharing your experiences. We value that. Thank you.
Well, pleasure indeed, Marisha. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Arjit sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. See ya.
Happy New Year.